Hey there, thanks for tuning in to Ask Michelle. My name is Michelle Hart. I'm a diet and detox specialist, and today's video is on the top 5 keto do's and don'ts. So let's get started. So the number one keto do would be to make sure that you carb cycle. So basically what this means is after you've been on the ketogenic diet for 1 to 2 months, because that's about how long it takes to train your body to use fat as fuel instead of the sugar that you're using before, you want to change it up. And so to change it up, what I mean by that is you're used to 20 to 50 grams of carbs for 1 to 2 months. You want to now bump it up to 100 to 150 grams of carbs. And ideally you want to have the bulk of those as part of your evening meal. And why we want to do this is because otherwise your body will adapt and it's not going to change. So what you'll find is if you're even at that plateau, you may want to actually add in some carbs because the body goes, oh good, I can start to let go of this extra body fat because I've got some extra food coming in. There's other reasons for adding in the carbs, but that would be one of the reasons is because the body adapts and you want to shake it up a bit and add in these extra carbs. So carb cycling, I would suggest doing that for 2 to 3 times a week, adding in those extra carbs. And so then you're cycling it. So keto do number 2 would be to make sure that the carbs you are adding in are the nutrient-rich carbs. So those wouldn't be the French fries. Those would be things like below the ground vegetables. And I like to color my plate. So maybe purple potatoes, the colorful yams, I think they're red, the cream colored sweet potato, maybe the red potatoes, maybe the different colored carrots. So those types of things you want to add in. If you want to look at legumes, lentils, chickpeas, and some beans, just make sure they're soaked or sprouted for best digestion. And then explore some non-gluten grains, the quinoas, the different colored quinoas, the red ones, the white ones, there's all sorts of colors. The rice and the buckwheat. I love sourdough buckwheat bread. In fact, I usually have that 2 times a week. So yeah, those are the type of carbs that I would recommend you put them in. And why we want to have nutrient-rich carbs is obviously for the nutrients. These are micronutrients that the body needs for cellular function. So not only do we have to be careful of the macronutrients, the protein, carbs, and fats, we also want to make sure that the quality of foods come in that gives us the nutrients for proper cellular function. So the third keto do would be to make sure that not only do you feed well, you've got to fast well. So that means taking a break from food. And so the reason how we're going to do that is you've got 2 ways you can do this. You can follow the intermittent fasting way, which is what I do. So women would be about 14 hours of not eating from dinner to breakfast. Men would be about 16 hours. They can go longer because they're different hormonally. So that means just after dinner, you're not eating. You're having water or you're having herbal tea with some stevia. And in the morning, remember you're counting your 14 hours from dinner to breakfast. You always start with that 1 liter of water, and then you can go maybe to some coffee. Just make sure it's not moldy and make sure it's organic. Otherwise it's highly sprayed. I don't put anything in my coffee. I just have it plain. So my body still thinks that there's no food coming in, and I'm always counting 14 hours. And so why we want to do this is because it allows for the cells to move into a state, what they call autophagy, cellular renewal, getting rid of old cells, bringing in the new cells. It can't do that if it's eating all the time, but it can when you're fasting. So the 4th keto is going to be one that we don't want to do. We don't want to do keto for too long. And the reason for that is because we do need, so when you're in ketosis, the body's insulin is quite low. So if it's quite low for too long, that may not be so good for 3 areas. The one would be the thyroid. The thyroid really needs insulin to keep it humming. So it needs actually insulin to convert T4 to T3. T3 is the active form. So especially those that are hypothyroidism, you want to make sure that you're adding in some carbs, like the carb cycling, or not going keto for too long, because you want to stimulate that thyroid to work again, be in production mode. The second reason is because if you're in ketosis for too long, the insulin goes down, the liver gets into gluconeogenesis, which means the liver starts to make sugar, and it actually can start to break down your own protein from your own muscle, and you can start to lose muscle because it's breaking down the amino acids to make the sugar. We don't want to do that, so you want to make sure that you bring the insulin up so you can get back into anabolic mode, which is building up mode. And so that's, again, the carb cycling comes in, or just don't do keto for too long. The third reason is because with menstrual cycle. So if you're menstruating and you're a woman, you need insulin from carbs to drive estrogen. So the first 2 weeks of your cycle is like the estrogenic phase. You want to make sure that you're supporting that with some good carbs during, say, the first week of your cycle, or just a few days leading up to your cycle, to make sure that you're driving up that estrogen to have a good menstrual cycle. So the fifth keto don't would be to know that you reading all this material, I know you're listening to me, but listen, you are not a textbook. You are a person, and you have your own set of genes, you have your own set of ancestry, and you have your own type of lifestyle, you're doing your own type of exercise, you've got a family, you've got other obligations, a lot is going on. So I just need you, please, to read your body. So how you know that your diet is working for you is if you're moving into a good body composition and you're not plateauing. So the other thing is you're not hungry all the time. You want to make sure that you're hungry, you eat, and then you stop. And you're not hungry after that until your next meal, 4 to 5 hours maybe later. So your hunger, you're not tied to the fridge all the time. You eat, stop, eat 2-3 times a day. Also your energy. When you wake up, you should have energy throughout the whole day. We don't really want to have these slumps. If you've got a slump, there's something going on and needs to be tweaked. The third thing is the cravings. So we don't want to have these sugar cravings. If you've got these sugar cravings or cravings for bad food, then we've got to adjust the diet or something going on, because something is driving that. And that's not really a way to live. So what we call it is the heck is in check. So the hunger, energy, and craving is in check, and your body is moving into a healthy body composition, the way that you want it. If you have further questions, please ask me, ask Michelle. And so how you do that is just tune in to askmichelle.com, askmichale.com. And, or if you're interested in a personalized diet or even learning more about this ketogenic style diet, that's what I do. So I would love to create a diet for you. Again, just go to Ask Michelle, askmichale.com, and you can contact me there. And I am so happy to design your personalized diet for you to get you started and get you to reach your health goals. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that was helpful.